Here are my predictions for week 6 of the NFL. Week 5, disaster. We're going to move on. I think I went 10-16. But some of the offset games that I predicted that were going to be offset games were offset games, but there was obviously some that I got wrong, starting with the clean slate. Now, first game of the week, kicking off Thursday Night Football, is a NFC East rivals game between the Giants and the Eagles. Both of the Giants and the Eagles are coming off of a loss from week 5. And to be honest, Jackson Dart did such an amazing performance in week 4, that sometimes it just doesn't equate and it doesn't follow through into the next week. Now, against the Eagles, I just don't see them pulling through. I'm going to go with the favorite here and going with the Eagles. Another London game is the Broncos versus the New Jersey Jets. Just kidding. The New York Jets. Even though we know that the only real New York team is in where? Buffalo, that's right. The Broncos are 3-2 and the Jets are 0-5. They're 0-5. All right, and statistically, all right, they got to win at some point. Just by that alone, to be honest here, I'm going to go with the Jets in week 6, just pure off just statistics, okay? However, I am going to run a separate one for the Broncos winning too as well. Chargers versus the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are hosting the Chargers. Both teams are coming into week 5 from losses. The Chargers are 3-2 right now. The Miami Dolphins are 1-4. But again, without Tyreek Hill, I just don't see the morale boosting, and I just don't see it. Justin Herbert has lost 2 straight games in a row. I definitely going with the Chargers in week 6. Browns versus the Steelers. The Browns just traded Joe Flacco, and Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders has moved up on the depth chart. Now, I don't really think that's going to affect the way that they're playing. To be honest, Dylan Gabriel did an okay performance, I guess. 1 single touchdown last week. I mean, not the best, but what are you going to do? And against the Steelers, I don't want to see it happening. Aaron Rodgers has really made me hate my words. Last season, I was Aaron Rodgers' biggest hater, but I can't hate on Aaron Rodgers anymore because he's playing really fucking good. I don't see the Browns beating the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers in week 6. Saints versus the Patriots. Now, just last week was a hate crime against the Bills. That's what I'm classifying it. It was a hate crime. I think this will be an offset game. Obviously, the Patriots are favored here. And just from the sheer insanity that I witnessed last week, I'm betting my emotions, and I know that's bad to do. Spencer Rattler, if he wants to win against the Patriots, he has the arm to make those deep passes, and that is honestly, we didn't have many deep passes last week, but that is what the Patriots defense struggled with most, is their man-to-man downfield coverage. So they need to get rid of the ball as fast as possible, and Spencer has some good targets to hit. And the Saints defense needs to improve on their man-to-man coverage as well and utilize their safeties, okay? That's, oh my God, obviously, but utilize their safeties to force turnovers. And another weapon that the Patriots just lost this week was a season, which was really sad, last week. I don't cheer for this. I think it's terrible, but a season-ending torn ACL injury was their running back, Antonio Gibson. The Saints defense really has an opportunity here to capitalize on their ground game. And just needless to say, just out of pure hate, I'm going with the Saints on this one. Cardinals versus Colts. Here's me picking another favorite, but I can't. The Colts are playing in Indy. Just no way. Colts all the way. Rams versus the Ravens. This one is sad for me. Now, Lamar Jackson, he is most likely going to be sitting this one out next week. After this week's next week, they have a bye week. The Ravens do. So usually that they're gonna sit him out, so he has another week of rest. But even Matthew, if we're talking about Matthew Stafford versus Lamar Jackson, that's still a different conversation. But their backup versus Matthew Stafford, I don't see it happening. Matthew Stafford threw an amazing game last week. It was 389 passing yards. Even Mac Jones did really good, but that was sheer luck. And it was just a few mishaps, obviously, on the Rams defense. But I don't see the Ravens as the team that they are today beating the Rams in week 6. So I'm going with the Rams. Cowboys versus the Panthers. Dallas is favored by 3, and this is an offset game. I know it's going to be. They're playing in North Carolina, so that will be home field advantage, obviously, for the Panthers. Both teams are coming in for a win, and Rico Dowdle needs to be utilized as much as possible because some tea here, he used to play for the Cowboys, so he knows he's familiar with the Cowboys defense, so they need to utilize him as much as possible because he was the secret weapon that helped the Panthers beat the Dolphins in week 5. Rush for 26 yards with 2 touchdowns, but the Panthers defense needs to step it up and they need to sack Dak Prescott as much as possible, forcing those turnovers. Know how accurate Dak can be with those long field passes, and he has a few reliable targets that he can hit. But this is another one that I'm going to run 2 on, not going to lie, just laying it out there. But if I had to guess, it would be the Panthers winning in week 6. Titans versus the Raiders. What a dumpster fire. It's been an absolute tragedy, and there is no kind way to say it's been a tragedy, okay? I just didn't think Geno Smith would be this bad. Really, they need to put in Kenny Pickett. I have nothing constructive other to say Kenny Pickett needs to be put in. Geno Smith played a disastrous game against the Colts. Granted, it was the Colts, but he didn't score. He got 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Forced multiple turnovers. That brings the season total to 9, and that's week 5. That's up from week 5. 9 interceptions. Put in Kenny Pickett. When I tell you I am kicking and screaming, when I tell you this, I am going with the Raiders, and I swear to God. But I'm going to run both just because of it, just because of this fact. Every time I pick the Raiders, they lose, okay? And I swear to God, if I pick the Raiders and they lose, done. Done ties with the Raiders. Done ties. I'm skipping them at every single one. Seahawks versus Jacksonville. The Seahawks are favored here because of Jacksonville's glorious win against the Chiefs. Jacksonville has home field advantage here, but something is telling me to go with the Seahawks. Sam Darnold has more experience over Trevor Lawrence, but the Seahawks defense needs to step up and stop the Jaguars' running game. They need to stack with linebackers while keeping up edge control to prevent those long rushing yard plays, because that was something that Jacksonville really did well versus the Chiefs. Seattle's blitzes needs to be fucking lethal to create as many turnovers, obviously, as they can, simultaneously managing the clock to keep it in Sam Darnold's possession as much as possible. So I'm picking the Seahawks in week 6. Let's go! Bengals versus the Green Bay Packers. Breaking news, the Bengals have acquired Joe Flacco. He's just moving a town over. I think every single Ohio team is cursed besides Ohio State. But even that is debatable, I guess you could say. But honestly, guys, Joe Flacco being so fresh on the scene, I don't see... my palm is itchy. That's a good sign, guys. I don't see him coming in and beating the Packers. Now, have crazier things happen? Yes. Don't get me wrong. Joe Flacco has extremely reliable targets to hit. He has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so who knows? This could be the morale boost that the Bengals need. But to see it happening the first day the first game Joe Flacco is there, it's unlikely. Just my gut is telling me to go with the Packers on this one, just because Joe Flacco is so fresh on the scene. But the Bengals, this may be the boost that the Bengals need, but kicking and screaming, Packers. 49ers versus Tampa Bay. The more I underestimate the 49ers, the more I lose my 16-leg parlays. But Tampa Bay is favored because of home field advantage. And although Mac Jones has really shown improvement here, I just don't see him outplaying Baker. So Baker Mayfield had an incredible game, almost perfect game. Almost perfect game last week. Mac Jones was really struggling against the Rams, and he played a really good game against the Rams, but I don't know. I just don't think he's going to outshine Baker Mayfield in their own home, so I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of the week for me is the Lions versus the Chiefs. The Lions will be traveling to Arrowhead Stadium. That doesn't really mean much to me because they have lost one in their house, and whatever. However, losing 2 straight games in a row is making me question my pick here. Okay, it's making me question everything. All right. I want to go with the Lions here. Just because the Chiefs have not been playing like the Super Bowl contending team that we all know that is the Chiefs, right? As much as I hate saying that, I think we have to run them both, guys. I hate to say this, but my gut is telling me to go with the Lions. Monday night game is Buffalo versus Atlanta Falcons, and I have nothing constructive to say other than go Bills. I don't see the Bills losing 2 straight in a row. Next second Monday night game is the Bears versus the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is back, baby, and it really showed, okay? The Bears have won 2 straight games in a row. Again, they got to lose at some point, and it's going to be on this game for sure. I'm 100% confident in this game, okay? The Commanders are favored by 5 points with home field advantage. I hate picking the favorite here, but we're going with the Commanders in week 6. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video and for my picks of the week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or whatever you're doing. Be easy, and thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and come back on Tuesday to see if I'm correct, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.